1959 is where it all began. Where were we? Where was I? Sister Idel had started giving life, hope, and love to teenage rejected girls. Join me as we explore more.
Thank you very much, Edna. I am Sister Idel Bahati. To say that I was born in 1936, I'm an old lady, 86 years old, but I thank God for those years. They have been years of self-giving, love, celebrating life with many people, and I thank God for that. So it's to share my life so that we all uphold each other, help each other, and grow together in love, in faith, and in hope.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Sister, where do you come from in Kenya?
First of all, I was born here in Nairobi, St. Austin's Parish, yes. Lavington, Mzangari.
Yes.
That was in 1936. And I lived here in Nairobi. My parents were from Tanzania, and they came with the first missionaries. So we lived here up to when I was 11 years old. Then we went back to Tanzania.
Yes.
So, but then I have lived all my life here in Kenya, yes. But I usually go back to Tanzania now and then for the holidays, yes. And I used to go to my family there in Moshi, Tanzania, Mabogini. But then I continued to stay here in Kenya because I went to school here in Kenya in Loreto Convent, Mzangari. That's where I schooled. And I finished my teacher training. I finished my secondary school in Loreto Convent, Kiambu. Did my teacher training there. And then for 3 years, I was able to teach in Loreto Convent, teachers training then for 3 years. Okay. And so really my life has been here, both in Kenya and in Tanzania. That is the thing.
That is quite good to note. I heard you said your parents came with the first missionaries, yeah, in Kenya. Were they missionaries themselves?
No. They just came. The first missionaries brought some people with them here. So, yes. Yeah. Okay. They were ordinary lay people, and then that's what happened.
Okay. Now, growing up partly in Kenya, partly in Tanzania, what can you say is the difference between growing up in Kenya, growing up in Tanzania?
That time we were under the British colony, yes. And the two countries were very much together, the same together. Yes. So really life was very much the same, although the different cultures. Yes. Tanzania has got a different cultures, and here we have got a different culture. But then you integrate the two, and people were very, very much together. Yes. There was no difference. So we lived together in harmony, in peace, and it was good.
So basically there was no much difference between Tanzania and Kenya?
No. We were together. Okay. Yeah.
So growing up, how would you explain your childhood?
My childhood was good, and it was pleasant. Although I had a problem when I was young, we had a disease that caught up many children, and so I had it and the eyes, but then God helped me. I overcame that, and I'm okay. But then I would say as a child we grew up children together. We celebrated life together. We lived together. We played together. It was really very peaceful, a peaceful childhood. And then in the family we were very many of us together. So again, life was interesting, was fulfilling, and there were no kind of many major problems. We lived together in harmony and in peace. My childhood was good, and I thank God for that. And we grew again in faith, and it was great.
The next question I would like to ask, you got into a vocation.
Yeah.
That is, after your childhood, you got into the adulthood or the teenagehood season, and that's the time you realized or noticed what you wanted to become. So could you kindly tell us something small about your vocation?
you know, I grew up looking at life. We grew with the sisters, Loreto sisters. I saw their self-giving, and I wanted to also give myself to God and serve in one way or other. So then, as a young adult, I was in the Legion of Mary, and we worked together. We worked together helping in different ways. So then I was in Loreto Convent, then Kiambu, and the sisters of Our Lady of Charity from Europe, England, came to Kenya, and they were given the place in Ideville, Embakasi side. Used to be a quarry place. You know, it was during Mau Mau time, and Mau Mau had finished. So when the sisters came, they were given by the Kenya government the place called Ideville, where it is now Ideville Home. We used to call it Embakasi Quarry imprisonment. And then when the prisoners, Mau Mau finished, so the sisters were given that place. It was a bushy area. So then the sisters asked me, the sisters of Loreto, they said, well, these sisters have come, they have got a place in Embakasi, and they need help. So then as the president of the Legion of Mary, Loreto Kiambu, I took some students and we went there to help. That time I was discerning what do I want to do in life. Marriage, I was able to look at it. Religious life, then I felt God is calling me to go to the religious life. So when I went to Ideville, to help the sisters clear the ground with the students, then I saw what the work they were doing. Then they said they came to help teenage girls, because they were called to come and help teenage girls. After independence, after Mau Mau, quite a number of young girls came to the city, and they did not know what was what. Say they went astray into juvenile prostitution, this, that. They did not have anything. So then when I saw the sisters coming all the way from Europe to look after our own young girls in Kenya, I felt I felt called to go and help, to work with these needy young girls, bring them hope and bring them life.
By this time, were you still a teacher?
Oh yeah, I was a teacher in Loreto Convent, Kiambu. That's the time when the sisters asked her to go and help these other people. And so from that time, then I decided, that was 1959. Okay, wow. It's a long time. Yes, so then from that time...
You were not born by that time.
you all of you are not... I'm your grandmother to say that. Yes. So then that was 1959. So I was able to look at it and really... used to go to Ideville during my holidays before I go home. Then we were in Tanzania. Before I went to Tanzania for holiday, I used to go to Ideville, work as a volunteer with the girls, help them in one way or other, teaching, learning, and then I'd go home. After staying maybe for a week or so, then I'd go home for my holidays and come back. Then that's when I was teaching. So then I applied to the sisters and said I'd like to help these girls. So I joined them. So in 1961, I left teaching and I went to England, Southampton, and was entered in the novitiate. And I was there for 6 years for the training. Then after 6 years, I came back to Nairobi. And I was the head teacher of Ideville Primary School, and also helping the young girls. I was a headmistress in the primary school teaching, and I was also responsible for a cottage of teenage girls. There are about 20 of them we had quite a lot of teenage girls, helping in one way or other in Ideville, but the cottage that I was had about, let's say, approximately 20 girls, helping them with house mother and other helpers, helping them in moral transformation, teaching, like holistic training.
Were they having families or?
No, young teenage girls. Where
did you get the girls?
Without from slum areas, without parental care, being kind of forced to go into prostitution, and the parents did not want, all kinds of problems that they had. So then again, to be a mother to them.
Yes.
I was a really mother to them, and both in the school.
Yeah.
So I was able, and God gave me energy to work for this in the cottage with the girls, and to work in the primary school with quite a number of young other. It was a primary school for both boys and girls, day school. So it's that self-giving, helping the girls in the cottage, helping the young people in the school, and working with other teachers to uphold them and give them. We used to give them holistic education and formation, religious formation, spiritual formation, education for life. And just like any mother would uphold the child, bring everything, give everything to the upbringing of a young person. And that's what I did.
So, if I may ask, for how long would you stay with these girls, or after the training, what will become of them?
They went to the children. What we did with the girls, they came to primary school.
Yes.
After primary school, then some went to secondary school.
Yes.
And we had a place for them in Westlands when those who were going to secondary school went to secondary school. Then after that, they went for training. And the government of Kenya was very good then. Some would be taken after training and all that. They'd be given work by the government, by different institutions. And that was like giving them all that was possible, to give them hope and life, so that they can take care of themselves and take care of their families. And quite a lot, we've helped quite a lot of people. I would say up from that time, maybe more than 2,000 people.
Wow.
To their children. So we helped a lot.
Yes.
And it's that kind of, giving a young person all the possibilities of building oneself up, growing up gracefully, and then being able to contribute to society. So we did a lot.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Making somebody smile.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are currently in this place where you're located. It's now Edelwell Mission Hospital.
It's Jama Home Ideville Trust Mission Hospital.
Yes. So how did, because you have talked about the primary school, you have talked about the secondary school and the vocational training, and now we are in a hospital setup, still under you.
Yeah.
How did this come to be?
You know what happened?
Yes.
When we were in Ideville, there were we had also another group of teenage girls. We're in school, and with the African culture and any culture, a young girl is supposed to grow up well in the family. After growing up well, then they get married in the right way. But then we had the problem now of young girls getting pregnant before finishing school, before marriage. And that was a great taboo. And it was a curse, as one would say. And the family, they were rejected.
In their society.
In the society and their own families and all the people. If you know the back culture, that was it. And so the girl had nowhere to go, and it quite a lot of problems. So then when the sisters were doing the work they were doing, so then other congregations asked the sisters if they can also help this these girls.
Yes.
So then the sister started a home for the young teenage unmarried mothers, and helped the girl with the child, and then again give them upbringing. So
Receive the girls when they are pregnant.
yeah,
Okay.
and helped them. So then we had a small hospital, and then the government used to help the Kenya government, the hospital, Kenyatta Hospital and others, Nairobi, used to come and help the girls, those girls in this. They go to either the school. They got either to Pumwani Hospital, or they were helped in Ideville, one side of Ideville. So Ideville had a big place. One side was for the teenage girls with their own different problems. Then we had another place for the teenage young unmarried mothers. So then later on, the city council, we were working very much with the city council then, decided to, and the maternity hospital then was in Ideville, and it was a small place. So then the city council used to help in the maternity hospital for the girls, and the people around also used to come to the maternity hospital. And that's why then the city council decided to give the Ideville Trust this place now, which we call Jamaa Mission Hospital. They were given this place to start to build now a new maternity hospital. So to begin with, this was a small maternity hospital, and then later on it developed into Mission Hospital, which is maternity and general medical services. So that's how then we came back. Now the sisters also came and started the Jamaa Mission Hospital. Yeah.
This is good, giving back to the society.
Yeah. Back to society, and they helped quite a lot. And again, as we say, used to work with the Pumwani, but then with the hospital now was able to get our own nurses and continue. Yeah.
So being a mission, that means there's support from elsewhere. So who are these that are supporting the mission?
The people, Germany was really great in helping us. Miserio helped to build this place at Ideville, and used to give us subsidency. Donations and help. They gave a lot of help to Ideville, to the sisters, and then Miserio and Missio. Then we had Amma from Holland, and quite a lot of people from Europe, and even America, Spain, yes, to Ireland, England used to help the mission. And even up to now, the girls that we have in Ideville, they are being helped by Missio and other places, and quite a lot of people in Germany help. Yeah.
That is quite good.
Yeah, because then it's a charitable, self-giving mission, so we get help from outside.
That is
Although we ourselves try a little bit to do whatever we can.
what you're able to do. So,
Yeah.
because you also have to participate.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah.
So you're currently not actively participating in the running of the hospital?
The sisters are, but at the moment I am retired.
You're
Yeah.
tired and resting.
But I do a little bit. I do fundraising for the children in Ideville. I also help here in the small ways that I can.
What you're able to do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sister Ida.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Quite an interesting view of the general life. Now, I want to get into a topic about vocations. We are called into different vocations. As you talked, you mentioned something to do with the young people. So we are having various kinds of vocation into marriage, vocation into sisterhood, vocation into single life, and many others. Given an opportunity, what advice would you give? Because we are having so many rates of single parents, we are having so many rates of divorces, separation.
For the young people, as I say, I used to give them talks,
Yes.
and let's say seminars on human, sexual, spiritual development, psychological, help. And within that, then I used to also advise them to look at self and grow up in maturity with self-respect.
Yes.
And then looking at life, respect oneself, respect the others. And as I say, grow in maturity, in self-respect, and then discern what God wants one to do, not to rush things, and not again to play with one another.
Yes.
When you come into the field of sex and sexuality, to respect, and then discern and pray and see what does God want you to do in life. Don't rush into life, but discern, pray about it, get advice, and then say, life, the way God has called us, marriage. In fact, most of the people are called to marriage life. And again, respect marriage is a call for two people. God said from the very beginning, God made man and woman and decided that the two come together and bring forth as a family and bring forth the children.
Yes.
As a family. But then to have a faith-filled marriage,
Yes.
not just play around, make each other pregnant and then just spoil, go like that one. And so talk about marriage is a call, is a vocation. And then also religious life. There are people that feel maybe I'm called to become a priest or to become a sister or a brother. And then some are called to single life. So again, getting advice and helping the young people to see what is God asking of me and how am I going to live it. What is marriage? What are the demands of marriage? What is the religious life? What is priesthood? Because a call is from God.
Yes.
And so then again, that listening and looking at life, and then make a discernment and say, what is God asking of me?
Yes.
Not rush into things and then just live just in a wayward way.
In all these vocations, we are having challenges. We have different kind of challenges. What would you advise would be the best approaches, especially to challenges in life?
To
Challenges in life.
there are many challenges.
Yes. In all the vocations we have talked about, there are so many challenges, and the challenges that come in all these vocations is what makes people decide how they want to live their lives. What would you give, what kind of advice would you give to the young people, especially on the challenges of life?
The challenges are there. And sometimes when I look at Bim Swafari on TV,
Yes, Citizen TV.
Citizen TV advising young people,
Yes.
sometimes people go too much towards women as they are subservient to men. And so woman should do this for the man, should do that. Marriage is for two people to come together, to respect each other and to work together.
Yes.
Nobody is subservient. Nobody is a slave to the other one.
Yes.
So work together, live together,
Yes.
and share equally the life of the community, not to feel that one is down and one is up. And so marital advice when people are getting married from the priest, from adults, that people that know what is what, and then give that aspect that the two of you have come together, and two of you have given yourself together to grow as a couple. As a couple with the children. Help the children together in faith, in love, in everywhere and in many ways. Sharing and caring together. And working together to see what is the best for the family and how two of us are going to live together in peace, in love. Challenges will come even in marriage. How do you accept that? Unavumilia kwa njia gani? Endure that and accept the reality that is there. That is the thing. So equality is very important. Then also in the religious life you have your own challenges. But then you have to think and say, I've given myself to God. That's what we are talking about. Psychosexual and human development is very important, and that sometimes we get in schools or we get in workshops. I used to give that one a lot for somebody to see what is life about. The commitment I've given myself, what is it? And life is not a smooth reality. We have problems. How do we endure them? How do we solve them? You are not called into a bed of roses. The life is not a bed of roses. We are human beings with our challenges, so we are able to look at that, and instead of being bowed down by those, you are able to continue and to live and to see how we are going to hold life together in every single life, marriage, religious, priesthood, but then the commitment that you have made to yourself. Challenges will come, but you have to hold up that one and see how do we go about it. Not to despair or to become despondent, but to overcome that and share with other people, even with your partner or with the other person. I've got this problem, that problem. And I think it's a challenge of the call to counseling, guidance, talking together, solving our situation together, and then going ahead.
That has been our story, Sister Edel, giving hope, life, and love to the teenagers. What is your duty as a teenager, as a young mother, as a young father, as an adult? Create a change before you expire. I have been your host, Nyakenyanya Edna.